Hi everyone.
Hello.
My name is Christopher Cherico. My friends call me Chris, and after tonight I consider all of you my friends.
Okay.
I was born with a disability known as Asperger's syndrome. If any of you are unfamiliar with it, these are the effects. Individuals with Asperger's syndrome experience problems with their social lives, and they often have restricted, repetitive, and stereotyped behaviors, interests, and activities. From childhood through my teenage years, I suffered with depression. It became so bad in my life that I got to the point of wanting to kill myself. There were times where I would literally throw myself in front of a car, attempting to end my own life. It got to the point where my mom had to send me to a hospital where I had to stay for several months. When I realized that she was sending me away to the hospital, I continually cried, begging her not to send me away. Eventually, though, I came to realize that she was doing this for my own good, and that she just wanted me to get better. When it seemed like the darkness was closing in on me, that's when God began to divinely intervene to bring His light in my life. During my high school years, I met Mary Nell Tyner, who was my rest hub worker, but would later become my pastor. One day, she introduced me to a Bible study program, and that very same day, there was an altar call where I would receive Jesus into my heart. Ever since I made that decision to receive Jesus into my heart, God has been pouring His unconditional love inside my soul.
Yeah.
Through my relationship with God, I have found such a profound and everlasting peace that only He can provide. The main reason why I suffered with depression was because I didn't know my purpose in life. But now, I no longer suffer with depression because, as it says in John 8:31 through 32, Jesus said to those who believed in Him, "You are truly my disciples if you follow my teachings, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." God has given me a renewed purpose to provide the truth from His Word to those who don't know Him. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go and make a disciple of many nations, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit." I encourage those today who don't have a relationship with Jesus to receive Him in your hearts. And for those who do know Jesus, I pray that you continue, that you cultivate your relationship with Him and seek His face to find out what His purpose is for your lives. Oh, and that's the end of my message, but yeah.
About the church and the ministry.
Chris, like you said, he met Mary Nell Tyner, which actually I was her supervisor. I worked for an agency that he received services from, so it was just a divine connection that, God had orchestrated, that, I would work there, he would come on my caseload, and then, I would connect him with Marinelle. Marinelle's the pastor of our church, and she really has a heart for leadership and mentoring. And her and I have talked about it many times. We feel very blessed to know Chris and to be a part of his life. And he's really, been an inspiration to us, and just has been a pleasure. He feels called by God to, share the message of salvation and encouragement and hope with people. And his life really is a testimony of it doesn't matter, we all have a deck of cards that we're dealt when we're born, and then some of us have some crazy cards that come along the way, and it's not the cards that we're dealt that makes the difference, it's what we do with the hand that we're dealt, and I thank God for Chris's, freedom to be able to share, because I know back in the day, he didn't feel comfortable letting people know that he had been born with a disability and had particular challenges to overcome, and he was able, part of it growing in his relationship with God, was being able to embrace that and it be a testimony of what God can do with your life. And I think that's important to always remember, is that, it doesn't matter what your baggage is that you've had, God can use it to, bring hope and bring encouragement and inspiration to others. So, instead of despising whatever it is that's taking place in your life, just to say, hey, I know God can use this. I know God can use this, and it can change people, can change people's lives, can bring that little bit of light. I think I came in on the tail end of who was it, Garrett was here a couple Sundays ago, and he said, if you're in a completely dark room and you even light a match, the darkness is dispelled. And that's the great thing, is that Jesus says that he's the light and the life of the world. And when he comes into your life, he brings that light automatically. The darkness is gone. It's in our minds that we maintain the darkness, that the lights stay off. So it's important that we get renewed in the spirit of our mind.